Hello everyone, it's me, Risky Boots, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have an item tier list. I was supposed to do this almost like a month ago. Well, actually, I did make this video like twice, and then I ended up um not releasing those videos because we ended up getting like some emergency patches, and also some items got changed like drastically, and then some Pokemon got changed drastically, which caused some usage to change drastically. So overall, I just completely just forgot about it because things just kept happening. And then also I just started, the new season started, and so now that I'm a master and I finished the game, like I can actually like give you a good idea of what's good. So let's jump into the items a little bit. So I'm going to jump into the items, kind of go one by one, in no particular order. Maybe the order that they're out here, and just kind of give maybe like a little bit of the history of it and where it is right now. So let's start off with Muscle Band. Also, I play in Japanese, as most of you people know. So if I mess up the names, excuse me, but I do know the effects. So let's start off with Muscle Band. So Muscle Band has been a great item. I'll put it right here in C tier for right now. That's not where it goes. But Muscle Band is a great item. Well, a lot of people don't know is that Muscle Band kind of works for every Pokemon. Most basic attack, if not all basic attacks in Pokemon Unite, are considered physical attack. So even if you have a special attack Pokemon, their basic attack will still be a physical attack, unless that's changed, which I'm pretty sure did not change. But Muscle Band gives you flat damage that scales based off your opponent's HP. So this means is the more HP the Pokemon has, or the more tankier it is, the more damage, additional damage you do. So this is for Pokemon that are called ADCs, so attack damage carriers. So these are Pokemon that are usually very, very squishy and usually are not very good at the beginning of the game, but once they get going or once they start to like level up, they're able to do damage over time, or DPS, damage over time. Damage per second is DPS. And so this is like for things like Cinderace and Greninja come to mind. Any basic attack Pokemon that relies merely on basic attacks, this is what this item is for. It is not for everyone. In the beginning of Pokemon Unite, this item was for everyone because we did not have any items at the time. We didn't have any really good items. And so Muscle Band is a great item. I recommend it for all starting players to buy this item first. And so that being said, it is great. And I'll be putting this in B tier, B for basic. I didn't introduce my tiers because they got erased, but as you know, S is super, A is awesome, B is basic, C is the coin flip, D is like, wow. D is ill, and F is, I forgot this was in the game. I just forgot this was in the game. All right, so now let's look at Scope Lens. Scope Lens put up here. So like I said, it's not going to C tier, but Scope Lens is a very niche particular item. What this item does is it increases your critical hit chance, it increases your chance to hit critical hits. There we go, if I said that correctly. And also when you hit critical hits, it increases the damage on that. Some Pokemon get, if you look at like their stats, I mean, you have to look online because they don't have them in the game. Some Pokemon have increased chance to get critical hit, and you can use like emblems to increase critical hit chance. But Scope Lens is probably like the best, if I'm saying this item right. And so, but this item is, I would say like, it's good for, like I said, like before like ADCs. So like Greninja and Cinderace come to mind, and also Dragapult, because they're basic attacking so often, they get a chance to proc that critical hit more often than most people. And it allows them to burst squishy characters. I would say like this item is pretty niche depending on the character that it's used on. It's not used as much as it used to be. I would say like this item is really used for like maybe something like Absol. Absol does great with critical hit because it has a passive that increases critical hit. So I'm going to put this in the C tier as a coin flip. It's not bad, but it's also not good on everyone. And so you really have to be, you know, like playing the game for this. So I would say I'll put this in the C tier. So this is when the items got changed. Shell Bell got changed. So Shell Bell, they just increased the healing on it. So pretty much no one uses Shell Bell for the healing. Everyone uses for the cooldown. The healing works a little bit, mainly for Pokemon. Like I would really just say Venusaur. I feel like this is only for Venusaur because this is a special attack item. Most Pokemon that are like special attackers, they don't have enough health to really benefit from the heal. They're kind of dead anyway once they're caught. So like Pokemon do a lot of damage, like it hit multiple people, like Chandelure. Maybe Miraidon like can use this, whatever, but they're so squishy that once they get caught, they're kind of dead. But Venusaur is maybe the exception to this rule because Venusaur has its Petal Dance build like gives it increased defense, so it's able to outlast, and then it gets the heal from this and the heal from Giga Drain, and also weakens the opponent's like attack. So this is like the best on like Venusaur. However, it does have cooldown potential, and so that's what it's mostly used for, is for cooldown. Is it a coin toss? No. But I think like, you know, in today's meta, like because it's so, they're just better items, and also emblems can kind of like replace this. And like a lot of Pokemon just have like, you know, like you only use this for the cooldowns. And because like I'm looking at the item as a whole, like the passive on it, the heal, and also the magical damage, because it gives magical damage, I'm gonna put this in D tier, was in like it's okay. It's not a coin toss, but it's good for what it's good for. And I would highlight just Venusaur. All right, I think this isn't choice specs. This is like the wise glass, I'm pretty sure. The wise glasses. So what this item does is it multiplies, it gives you flat special attack, and then it multiplies your overall special attack. So it's a multiplier. And so this item is good for a particular Pokemon. And I feel like I'll be saying this a lot. It's not good for everybody, but Pokemon that have a multiplier that are special attackers. I think this is probably best on Pokemon like Darkrai. Darkrai can use Nasty Plot to multiply its special attack, and then this scales off of it and able to do some good burst damage. Who else has like some good? Chandelure is also really good because Chandelure like peels down people's HP, or peels down people's like special defense. And as it starts to peel down, like this kind of like, it doesn't really scale it, but it hits harder because their special defense is kind of peeled down. I would say like it's good, but this is like, I would say this is a beginner. If you're playing the game for the first time at the beginning level, this is a great item. I'll put this in B tier because it kind of feels like the muscle band for like special attackers, if that makes sense. But this is, yeah, this is like the muscle band for special attackers, kind of. Focus band. Focus band is easily going in C. This item was great back in the day. I think, you know, this was one of the core items of muscle band. Back in the day, we run muscle band and focus band. Focus band would give you additional life based off how, when your life gets to a low amount of, to a certain point where it's so low, then what would happen is this would heal you for a certain amount. But the thing about this was like, so one thing that happened was, there are two things that happened with this item that kind of made it fall off a little bit, is that one, you could use it for every Pokemon, now you can't use it for every Pokemon. And the reason that is because one, the meta is so bursty even at early games that this doesn't even come into effect anymore. Like you may have this item and you may just die immediately, like before you even know. Like the game is so bursty and CC heavy that this doesn't even go off. This may save you like early game. So like maybe like on Charmander, where you're trying to like really get those stacks in, or really trying to like survive until you can become Charmeleon. Let's see, who else would this be on? Like Snorlax. But there's so many other better items, so I'm gonna have to put this in D tier because like I would say this is a very early game item. Like not early game item, like early if you're just like booting up the game for the first time. Like this is a very beginner item. If you're a beginner, definitely pick this item up because this will save you a lot. But when you get like to a certain level, this just doesn't work anymore. It does give you defense and special defense, but it's not enough to, everyone just kind of ignores that now. And there are better survivability items in the game that you can invest in. It is a good item, but I'm gonna have to put this in the D tier because it's just not doing what it needs to do. And yeah, I don't really know who it uses anymore. I'm not putting the ill, but okay. All right, so here we have the, I think this is Amplifier Energy Amp or Aeos Amp. I don't know. But this item is pretty cool. So this item is an item that it works on a lot of Pokemon. People don't know how to use this correctly, but what it does is it gives you just flat cooldown, and it also gives you cooldown on your Unite move, which is pretty darn good. And so what this does is once you use your Unite move, you get a increased damage. I think it may be 30%, maybe 30 or 50%. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's at least 30. You get a 30% increase to your damage for like a good amount of time after you use your Unite move. So that's good. However, what people don't realize is at a point in the game, Unite changed the game where they started to give classes additional bonuses after they use their Unite move. So speedsters got additional attack and additional speed. Supports, after they attack, they got like additional cooldowns. Defenders got like a bigger shield and they got more HP. Like this was just like making this was just like the rich get richer, and to the point where like, you know, like I would use this with something like Gardevoir, where I would pop my ult, and Gardevoir already has such good peel and burst damage where if I caught you, you could wipe out an entire team. Or like this gives like people like Hoopa like a fighting chance. I would say this is balanced in the fact that one, this effect doesn't take place until you have your ult, but you still do have those flat cooldowns for a while. However, I mean, essentially for almost like 3 minutes in the game, like you're missing an effect, you only have the cooldowns. And for that, I'm going to say this is a coin flip. It is a great item. It does not work on everybody because some people need items to work through the entire game. But if you are focused on your ult, like someone like Meryl has it all the time. Pikachu makes great use of this item or whatever, and all Pokemon can use this if that's the way you want to play. And I do recommend you try it out because you will definitely feel like the power. Usually with Delphox, because Delphox I would say goes like Energy Amp and also Shell Bell. These items don't really like take place, but Delphox cooldowns are so low that it's just constantly CCing its opponents and constantly like controlling the fight that it doesn't need to do damage. Its job is to zone people out to get KOs, and so that's why these items are like pretty good, and that's why they're not going into B tier, because they're not really for everyone, but they're really for like niche players. These two so more like they're just like too niche, and I wouldn't recommend like people buy them, except like Muscle Bend, like if you're really low like in just starting the game. So Float Stone got replaced hard, so I'm going to put this in the E tier. So Float Stone was a great item for like a hot second, maybe like a few months, where in the beginning, like when Float Stone was first released, it gave you attack and movement speed, and then it gave you, when you were out of combat, like overall in combat, you got additional movement speed, but it's like 8 seconds. And then I think they like re-released the patch notes and like made it like 4 seconds. But the thing about it is like, this is just for movement speed. So this is really like a speedster item. And most speedsters already have like built-in speed in their game. Most of them do. Like we look at Pokemon like Rapidash, whose entire kit is speed. Darkrai has his dashes. Leafeon has built-in like, what is it, chlorophyll in its like kit. Most speedsters, I mean, even Greninja, Pokemon that are in the jungle usually have a lot of mobility. Making this item like I said, like a win more situation where you're already winning, so you just win a lot more. But the thing about it is like, when you're looking at an item, like win more items are great, but what you really want, wait, is my, wait, I feel like my like thing is like messed up. There we go. Sorry guys. There we go. I think the wind is messing with my stuff. If my green screen is messed up, I'm so sorry. There we go. It's fine. Okay. You guys got to see me for a second. It's okay. I think it's fine. It's fine. We'll be ghetto for a second. Anyway, so like I said, so like this is a win more situation where like the thing about win more items are they're good when you're snowballing. However, if you invest all of your energy into only the part where you win, if you're losing, you cannot really come back. Like there's no way to come back because you haven't really, you've only allowed yourself to win, and when you're not winning, now you're playing even further behind because you have an item that only works if you're winning. So this item does increase your damage by a little bit, but really it's just to move left and right. And there are other items that are released, which you'll see in new Pokemon that are released, which you already know about, that have this item's effect and does it better. So that I'm going to put it in the E tier because I just don't recommend that you waste your coins on it at all. So just let this item be. All right, so now Buddy Barrier. Buddy Barrier will be our first A tier because Buddy Barrier is just great. Buddy Barrier is great in the beginning. I recommend it's like your first item ever if you're going to play Pokemon Unite. It gives you, the thing about Pokemon Unite is they have this defense stat and special defense stat, but it really doesn't mean too much. I'm going to be honest with you guys. What you really want to invest in if you especially want to be tanky is health. In the beginning of the game where you're first starting out playing Pokemon Unite, Buddy Barrier gives you such a good competitive edge to live because you know you're playing in a meta where people don't have that many items, and so you know if you're able to level your Buddy Barrier up, like you are able to kind of outlive your opponent and sustain them, which in early game, late game, and like the health that it gives you is so great. Also, when your opponent uses the Unite move and you use the Unite move, either or, this gives your entire team a shield based off your HP, and so you can equip this pretty much to almost any Pokemon. Even if you're like a squishy Pokemon, like having that little bit of HP may allow you to escape some, you know, dangerous threats. And you know, being a tanky Pokemon, you know, you just kind of lean more into your tankiness, which is great, such as Pokemon like Snorlax who kind of want this. And so, you know, especially for your Unite move, like let's say you have a Unite move that's kind of like a little bit dangerous, like Hoopa, or you have a Chandelier, or even you have a Delphox, whatever. Even if you don't use your barrier, your opponents will still pick that barrier up and they'll be able to continue the fight, which is really great. I really feel like this. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I just want to put this in the A tier. It's really easy to use. It saves you without you even knowing, and also like it's very user friendly. Like it's like no skill required. So that's why it's going to A tier. All right, so this is Score Shield. I'm pretty sure it's called in English. Score Shield. Score Shield. This is so niche that I'm gonna have to put this in the ill tier. The only reason why I'm putting this in the ill tier is like you have to like empathize with me. When I see like I only see this on like Talonflame, really just Talonflame, and I think I've seen this on like a Mr. Mime once. But the thing about this item is it gives you a lot of health, like almost as much as Buddy Berry, but Buddy Berry has a really good ability. This only works when you're scoring. So if you're a Pokemon that's focused on scoring, you really want to score, then yeah, go for it. However, like scoring is like legit half of the game. Like you still have to play with your team, you still have to be there. And so sometimes when I see this item on some players, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like we're going to be playing with the man down because now I have to worry about my teammate not focusing on like assisting me. He's going to be focusing on scoring only. And so scoring is great, but I will say like it creates a game of like anxiousness and anxiety because you don't know if you're really going to win. Like you're like kind of biting your nails into the end of the game. So you see like the points come up. And I would say like you could just invest in something like Buddy Berry to give the exact same health and is good all the time, where like this effect only goes off when you're scoring. And so for people who don't know, what Score Shield does is when you're scoring, you get like a little tiny shield where you are able to score without being interrupted. And so like I said, like Talonflame makes the best of this. He kind of jumps in, scores, no one sees it coming, and then he leaves. And then you see this combined with like, I think it's like Go Getter button, where they just score really fast and like run off. And in my opinion, you know, scoring does give you XP, but I feel like your time is best spent with, you know, like farming your lane, helping your team get those KOs, and like stealing experience from your opponent, or like, you know, like KOing them. That's my personal opinion. So that's why I'm putting this in E tier. I feel like this encourages some really bad like play styles. And you know, back in the day, to give context, this used to be a lot better, and you used to be able to stack shields. So if you had Buddy Barrier, or if you had someone like Lucario who has a shield in his kit, or who else has a shield? Like Mew has a shield. If you have a shield, Buddy Barrier will protect you as long as you have a shield. It didn't matter what shield it was. Now they removed that. So now when you see people use Buddy Barrier, you'll see like a white barrier, which is like the standard shield. The Buddy Barrier shield will be yellow. So once that yellow's gone, and it's really small, like you can't score anymore. So Buddy Barrier got a nerf. All right, Ales Cookie, controversial. So Ales Cookie, and we'll go ahead and put like attack weight in here together because these guys are like, oh, we'll also put the stack glasses here too, because these guys are all in the same category. And so they're all going to go in C tier because there is, you know, there's always been this debate in Pokemon Unite on if these items are good or not. And the reason why is because so these items all have the same effect, except they do different stats. Ales Cookie boosts your defense, and it is by a lot. Like it's almost like to a whole nother health, like you're like a whole nother character to a whole character and a half. It is a lot. Attack weight boosts your attack by a lot, and so does these Wise Glasses. The thing about Wise Glasses is, and I may have to put this tier down, is because the way that special type Pokemon work in the game, they're not in a position, really, only maybe Gengar, to even score because they're so far in the back. So sometimes you'll be wasting your item slot on with the hopes and dreams of getting close to a score, to getting close to your opponent's like goal in order to score, and you may do it once or twice, and you need to stack at least 6 times to get the full effect of this. Also, these items work best, everything except Ales Cookie. The other 2 items, they work best when you stack them in the early game, not in the middle game or late game. Early game, you're able to stack these 2 things, you're golden. Like you're gonna snowball really greatly. Ales Cookie you can stack at any time because the way characters scale, and you'll be okay. If you're falling behind on Ales Cookie, that's okay. You can just kind of change conservatively. But if you're missing some attack stats, you can feel that. Like you feel your character kind of playing down back. I would say attack weight is a little bit more easier to use because it goes well with the speedster roll, because speedster can kind of pop in, kill somebody, score, farm lane, and continue scoring, or Pokemon like Gyarados. But the thing about it is, it's like, and that's why I put this in the coin toss tier, not this one. I put this one in D tier. Some people say that stacking is a little bit overrated, where you could have any of these other items that have really great effects all the time and have special effects that help you monopolize on your abilities, whereas this is just flat damage. And so that's why I would say this has nothing to do with the Pokemon you're playing and more of the kind of player you are. If you are a player that likes to stack, I would say yes, asterisk. Because even then it may not be the best playstyle, because you may be down on the game or whatever until you have to leave. Like a good example is like, let's say you're playing or whatever, right? And you need to stack and your team comes and they dominate the bottom lane, and that's your lane. You've won the bottom lane. So now you have to go to their second goal to stack. So you have to go out your way and put yourself at harm's risk to finish the item that you didn't complete early game. So that means that your team is almost a man down as they're fighting at the next objective. So that's why I would say like these items are kind of like a coin flip. And the magical stat glasses, like this does help a lot of magical, I mean, I keep saying magical, special attackers in the game. However, like special attackers are so far in the back that it's really, really difficult to justify them getting that close to score. And then maybe get like 1 or 2. The only Pokemon I would say probably is like Gengar himself, because Gengar can get really close as a special attacker, and also Darkrai because he's also a speedster. So leftovers, if you'd asked me a year ago, I would say F, but leftovers got a buff where it also gives, so what it does is it regenerates HP over time, and also it gives you a good ton of health. This item I would say is B tier because it can be used on any Pokemon. If you are a beginner, this is really good if you don't feel comfortable going back to base, because the heal is pretty darn strong and you really do feel it now as opposed to before the stack. This is best on Pokemon, like I like to use on Mamoswine, tanky Pokemon like Mamoswine, Slowbro, Lapras. I mean, Lapras has heal, but these are Pokemon that don't have a heal in their kit, like a primary heal. Oh, Wigglytuff is good. And so instead of like going back and forth, you can just use the health that it gives you to make you already tankier, and also stepping away for a second to get that HP over time, you know, that scales based off your health, which is really good. And so that's why I put this in the B tier, not A tier too much, because A tier, I would say like, this isn't like a game changing item because, you know, there are other items, we'll get to that in a second. This is not a game changer item, but I would say like, it goes here in B where like everyone can use it. It's great. So even if you're a beginner, you can focus on any Pokemon you want to, even if they're special attacker and they're squishy, if it makes you feel comfortable to have that HP. All right, so EXP share, S. This is really easy. I've made this list 3 times and it's always been EXP. EXP share is probably the best item in the game. It's very, 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 very easy to feel EXP share for the entire team. So if you're playing the game, you'll see like a little light bulb over people's heads. That means that that player has EXP share. And what EXP share does is, it gives additional HP to the Pokemon nearby it, and the nearby range is about like 1 eject button or a little bit more. And so what it does is, if your partner gets like the last hit, it gives them more HP, and it gives you them more EXP experience, and it gives you some experience too. So instead of splitting the experience, it gives a little bit more. And so this allows Pokemon to evolve early. If this is like, you know, next to an Eevee, I was playing some games, I'll post some games in a little bit, where I was playing like, some of the Eevees or whatever, like, what's his name? Leafeon. I was gonna say his Japanese name, but I was playing around with Leafeon or whatever, and my teammate had a EXP share. I could just skip my farm and go right in the lane, immediately go to level 4, bust them wide open because of the power scaling, and then go back in my lane and get more XP. So like this allows like, Garchomps to go off, and also like the way this is played, like there was a time where everyone just had EXP share on it regardless of the Pokemon it was, because it was just that good, because people really wanted to get that experience. And so being 2 levels above your opponent is a big lead. And also you can feel when someone has the XP share. You can feel it. All right, next is Assault Vest. All right, we're gonna put this in. No one uses this item anymore. This item needs to be reworked. Assault Vest. So this gives you HP and a shield, I think special defense, and also it gives you a shield. I think that only works against special. It's so niche that it doesn't work because there's 5 people on a team. And you can't like pick your one-on-one. So yeah, I'm sorry. This was pretty open. This is an open and close one. This is like a don't buy this item. Don't use it either. There's better items. Use these up here, or use Ale's Cookie. Ale's Cookie gives you like so much more. So this is the new item. The new item that's on everyone's lips. This Rocky Helmet. Rocky Helmet got a big buff. So they reworked it for it to. So what Rocky Helmet does is, as you take damage, or if you take damage from your opponent, it reflects the damage at a % at them. Rocky Helmet was not useful for a long time because 1, the damage it reflected was too low, and also there was a timer on it on which it could reflect damage. So the effect could only go off like once every like 10 seconds or like that. So what this means is like, if you're playing against someone like Cinderace does a little bit of damage over time. So chip. So you're only reflecting small little itty bitty chips. Unless you're getting hit by something like huge, I don't know, like Goku, right? You're not really gonna be reflecting a lot of damage. However, what they did with this was they gave it a massive rework. So what they did was they lowered how much it reflects, but they increased how often it reflects. So this means this is live a lot more often and allows you to survive a lot more, and also gives you defense, and I'm pretty sure it gives you HP. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's still a little bit, you know, I wouldn't say it's new, but people are still experimenting with it, and I've had a lot of fun. I've been using this on Venusaur, Armarouge, Garchomp, like anybody who's close range, and you can feel the sustain. You're out sustaining them. There are Pokemon who don't like trading, and this does not work on them. So it's like, oh, let me box up the Raichu, and Raichu's like, no, I'm over here. So it doesn't work against range characters that well, but against one-on-ones, it's great. I've been seeing like people like Serena use this. So I'm putting this in B tier because it's definitely flexible. It can be used, and I would definitely say if you have some coins, throw it this way. Razor Claw. Razor Claw is a great item, especially it can go in any Pokemon. This item is especially good for Pokemon that are going into the jungle who do not have a lot of good lane clear early game. Razor Claw, once you use an ability, the next basic attack you do will guarantee be a critical hit, and also it will slow them. What I use this for is I use this to jungle a little bit faster. If I'm playing someone like Tyranitar in the jungle, because Tyranitar sometimes gets stuck there, this allows Larvitar to just get that little bit of extra damage to farm to get into lane. Who's another Pokemon that can use this? Absol can use this because it guarantees the critical hit. Phalanx, any Pokemon that can really get close, because it also has that slowing and that guaranteed critical hit, so it's good. All right, so here we go. Choice Specs. Choice Specs is good. I'm putting this in C tier though, because it's not for everybody. So this is for Pokemon that do like straight up just special attack damage. It's a special attack item. All the glass are special attack items. And so what this item does is like it gives you flat, I think it's 73 damage to all your attacks. So early game, this is great. This is good on Pokemon like Pikachu, Ninetales, Chandelier. This just gives them just flat, just you will take this damage. In early game, that is a lot. Late game, it starts to kind of fall off a little bit because people get a little bit more tankier. However, it does give you a little bit of, it gives you more like special attacks, so you kind of like, you know, make up for it. But I would say early game, sometimes worth it for the early game to get those easy KOs, especially like, I mean, the Pokemon that comes to mind is Mewtwo and Mew. Like they just kind of like have a field day with this because they're just able to just burst and then do more bursts. Because Pikachu has the execute move, Electro Ball. So Electro Ball, as your health is lower, it does more damage, and so this kind of pushes them into that threshold of, you know, being KO'd. So it's a good item. Pick it up. Pick it up if you have the coin. All right, we're gonna go back into the C tier with Weakness Policy. Weakness Policy is a great item, extremely niche. I will always put it in the D tier, but it is much more useful. As you take damage, your physical attack starts to multiply. So this is great for Pokemon that like to brawl. Tanks, I use it for Mamoswine. So this gives you health and it gives you attack, and then as you take damage, it multiplies your attack. So this is a really great item, pretty open and closed case. This is like, you don't want to put this on someone like, I don't know, Cinderace, because it's like Cinderace doesn't live long enough for this to multiply long enough. But Pokemon like Scizor likes to fight. Like he's in a fight, he's punching, he's healing. Mamoswine gets has thick fat, it gets additional defense as it takes damage. So this helps Mamoswine like do a little bit of damage back, and also makes him really tanky. There's just so many Pokemon that can use that, but it's for physical attackers. Rapid Fire Scarf. Rapid Fire Scarf got a nerf, but it's still good. Rapid Fire Scarf got a nerf, but it's still good. So Rapid Fire Scarf, this is for Pokemon that are ADCs. So this is for Cinderace, Greninja, Dragapult, Duraludon. So what this does, after 3 basic attacks, you just start going, like for a few seconds, you go pop, 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 pop. It doesn't increase your like damage that you do. So it's good. It's okay. It's B. Like I kind of gave you the Pokemon to use it for, so just use it on those Pokemon, you'll be fine. Drain Crown. Drain Crown is definitely a D. Drain Crown is a D. So Drain Crown, the effect maybe works and maybe not works. So Drain Crown, what it does is it gives you attack speed and gets you gets you HP. So for every basic attack you do, you get HP back. And so, but the HP regen is so low that you have to do ridiculous amount of damage like Absol to really feel this. And also you have to do things like Garchomp is really good with this item, but Garchomp has such good natural life steal, and now he has Rocky Helmet, that instead of trying to outlive your opponent, you can just KO them. Just KO them. Like, why are we like, you know, playing with our food? Just KO them. So yeah, so Drain Card, unfortunately, I mean, I'm gonna have to maybe put this in D. I don't really know who this goes on. Put this in D, I'm sorry. Twisted Spoon. Twisted Spoon got a nerf. It's an A tier. It is a must use on every single special attacker. You have no choice. You must use it on every special attacker. It is a great item to pick up. A tier. So Twisted Spoon. So what this does is it just ignores people's special defense, which is great. Just ignore it. Nothing else said. That's it. Someone has 50, special defense. You ignore like 20 of it. You do more damage. So it's great. Rescue Hood. F. I don't know who this item goes on. I think it's made for Comfey. So what this item does is it increases how much you heal and increases how much you give shields. However, for some Pokemon, if you have the glasses here, the stacking glasses, one stack I think is like double whatever this can do. So a lot of Pokemon like Blissey, their healing capability is based off how much special attack they have. So if you just lean into your special attack more, you'll be able to heal this, more, and also you'll be able to do damage. And so it's a +2, whereas this one is just heal more. And so if your team is losing, if your team is down on, like experience in life or whatever, like even if you heal them, they're still going to just keep dying. So, the best defensive offense. All right, so the Rustic Sword, F tier, because we can't interact with it. Like it's for Zacian, it's to balance him, it's there. All right, so these two are the twin items. I'm going to put them in A tier. The Curse Bangle and the Curse Incense. And so we call this in the video game community anti-heal. So what this does is, I always say I never leave home without my anti-heal. This, what it does is it slows down the rate in which your opponent heals. So if your opponent's getting healed by the base or even like an ability, I think it like lowers that by 30%. So I love these items. If there needs to be at least one player in your team that has this on your team, some anti-heal, because you don't want to be battling like all of a sudden like everyone's life is coming back up. Like anti-heal is necessary. Not every Pokemon can use anti-heal. Like Pokemon like Snorlax, who does like single target damage, not the best for this. But I would definitely say if you have spread moves, or like, if you're like a speedster and you're like hunting somebody down, just go ahead and throw this on there. It actually gives you a good amount of attack power. This is like the Curse Shield. I don't see this done often. I know what it does. So what this does is when you take damage, you give a shield. Well, you get health regen with this, but if you take damage, you give a shield to your ally. And I just don't see this enough to actually know a lot about it. Like even when it was released, people didn't really use it too often. Not that I saw. This may be wrong. I'm just not impressed. I'm put this in E tier because I'm just not impressed. Like compared to these items, just not impressed by this. Charging Charm came out at the same time as this. Charging Charm is good, but I feel like it has recently been outshined. So Charging Charm is an item where like as you walk around the map and as you do damage, as you take damage, this thing gets more and more power. And then when you use your first ability, it does additional burst of energy. That's all it does. But what I use this for is I use this for speed, but it is so niche. Like I use it for Pokemon, like if I'm just having fun, like Absol or like Ceruledge, I'm going Ceruledge. Like I use this for Pokemon that are not supposed to be in the middle lane, that I put in the middle lane because it gives you that increased movement speed. And also like you jump out the bushes that you can do a burst. So it's good, but like you have to learn how to use it. So I'm putting this in D tier. All right, the bracers. The bracers are really, really good. The power bracers, and I don't know, this the lens bracer, I don't know. I use these. Man, I don't know where to put them though, because they got a nerf. They're really good, but they decrease the way that you get stacks, and they so pretty much like it's more difficult to actually charge these full power now. So because of that, I'm gonna put them in C tier, but they do give you cooldowns. I'm gonna put them in C tier because there is a level of skill that required to pull this off. You need to be in the fight. These may be B tier, but they're not A tier, but they are very, very good. But I would say like they're balanced. Like this is completely player based. All right, and for our last two new items, as you guys know, I played a lot with the Golden Amulet. Golden Amulet is great. It's really niche. I would put it like it feels like it's almost like Charging Charm. They're on like the same level of like power level, where this one is just focused on scoring and holding more AOS energy, and this one is just focused on like doing more damage. But I feel like they're the same thing. And I'm gonna put, like, it was really strong, but I'm still gonna put it in D because it's just really niche. I don't really recommend people buy it just yet. I recommend buying these items first. It is good, but it's only if you want this playstyle. It's such a niche playstyle. I would say the choice, what is it called? Choice scarf? Choice scarf? Yeah, I think it's choice scarf. I'm gonna put choice scarf right next to his twin brother rapid fire scarf. Rapid fire scarf, you know, is good, but choice scarf gives you, I think, a little bit of attack speed, and also it gives you movement speed, which helps you close in. This would be good for someone like Garchomp to help him kind of stay on people a little bit, but he does have a little bit of CC. The only reason I say this is good is because, I mean, I use this with Raichu in order to help me keep distance. So this is like that's just the way that I play. I don't think that's the way that item is meant to be used, but that's the way that I play this item. So it may be used for, like I said, Pokemon like Garchomp to stay close, or Pokemon like Tyranitar to stay, like, you know, close to people. But I'll put this in B tier because it's not a bad item. It's actually a pretty good item. I enjoy it. It feels pretty fair. I will say the cooldown on him is pretty, like, it doesn't last very long, but I will say the stats are pretty good for what you're looking for. All right, with that being said, this is our tier list. Like, this is our tier list. And sorry guys for like the interruption and intermission, but yeah, I think this is pretty good. So I'm gonna try to do more of these. I think I was gonna do one on battle items, but battle items don't really take too long. But yeah, but to sum up, we have, you know, our S tier, which is great. I hope people agree with me. And if you guys disagree with me, please let me know. Like, I'm not the end all be all. This does not hurt my feelings. But we have the S tier, which is EXP share. We have our A tier, which, you know, you should be buying these items. You should be on everyone. B tier is very basic for beginners, can be used on every Pokemon. C tier is pretty much how you want to play the game. I kind of figured that out. And so D tier is like just niche interactions with like certain Pokemon. E tier is just like, if you have money for it, like, I would say use it, but you don't really need these items. And F tier is just like forgotten. Like, just don't worry about these items. There's only 2 of them in there. You're not gonna be using them anyway. And most likely, if you're playing Pokemon Unite, you're not playing a support. So don't even worry about Rescue Hit. You guys don't play support at all anyway. Unite players don't play support. All they care about is attacking. So that's all I got, you guys. Remember to like and subscribe, and you know, follow me on Twitch for more. Bye. I'm gonna go to bed because I think it's late. Yeah, it's late. I'm actually exhausted. Yeah, it's late. Night. See you guys later. Or good day. You guys have a good day. Bye bye.